You're not losing girls because you're ugly. You're losing them because your vibe is off. You're too eager. You're too stiff. You're too boring. You're too bland. In Inner Confidence, we role play. We record your conversations. We give feedback until your vibe is elite. And the vibe is one of the more difficult things to change because first,
don't even get me started.
You have to understand that your vibe is off. You have to understand why it's off, and then you have to do the hard work about changing it. And that is not an overnight process, right? First of all, no one in your life is going to give you feedback on having a bad vibe unless it's like your mom or your sister. And in that case, you're not even going to listen to them because you're like, whatever, just my mom or my sister. They don't know any better, right? So guys are very delusional when it comes to their vibe. It's like the douchebag is a douchebag for a reason, because nobody has ever told him he's a douchebag, or a lot of people have told him he's a douchebag, but he doesn't believe it, or he doesn't care. And he's just fine being a douchebag, right? So that's the thing that takes the most sort of ego.
Some people just want
to be a douchebag?
To be douchebags.
Yeah, they do, until they realize maybe it's hindering them, I guess, right? But that's the thing, is a lot of like douchebags.
But it's the same like a Karen. You think Karen, they're just all of a sudden a Karen? They choose to be that person.
Well, a lot of the times they don't know, right? They
don't know that they're a Karen?
Probably.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
I think you're acting horribly, but...
Well, the biggest thing I see for guys who struggle with women is they're way too careful, right? And they're too bland. They don't know how to show a fun, dynamic personality, so they end up just kind of slinking away and not showing anything at all. The guy who is actually the douchebag, the loud, over-the-top guy, he does get laid, because there are some girls who just don't care. They think he's hot, or they're also douchebagettes, and they like that. Yeah, I just made that up. It's a French pastry, douchebaguette. So... That's the other thing. Got to laugh at your own jokes, even if they're not funny, right? That's all about being a douchebaguette. As I said, you can change it. It doesn't necessarily have to take forever. It just takes being willing to look in the mirror and having somebody that you trust point those things out and giving you the right sort of exercises to fix it. And
but I think for most of the guys that I see, especially like your new clients, all of them are very good people. They're just so nervous.
Yeah.
That's what not even a certain behavior.
Well, it's their vibe. They have a nervous vibe.
They just too scared and nervous be around beautiful women.
Yeah, it's an exposure therapy thing too, right?
But that's what's a turn off, all girls, they don't want to admit that they don't want to be with a player, but the player is very confident and charming and everything, and it's what makes them attracted, because they know he's getting all the women. They get that masculinity and attraction. But when the guy is so nervous and doesn't know what to do, how to speak to you, it's immediate no, you're not masculine enough for me.
It's more fundamental than that. It's very hard to be comfortable around somebody who's uncomfortable. You literally don't want to be there.
Yeah, you're right. You feel I feel a lot of the times when a guy approaches me on the street, and when he's so nervous, it makes me sweat because I'm so uncomfortable. I don't want to be rude because I see he's nervous, but I also don't care. I'm gonna leave.
Well, the emotions are contagious.
Yeah.
Right? If someone's gross and a nervous wreck, you're going to feel that. You're going to feel anxiety, right? If you hang out with someone who's just a ball of anxiety, it gives you anxiety. So you don't want to hang around those people. You want to hang around people who are having a good time and fun and cool, right? So
oopsie,
no guy is going to be that when they're scared of hot girls. What'd you say?
I was oopsie, I'm not very fun.
Most of the time you're fun. So it takes exposure to get like that around women you're attracted to, because when you're young and you're scared of hot girls because you don't have a lot of experience, you're going to be a nervous wreck. But the only way to get over that is to get actual time around hot girls,
which is make friends. You don't need to chase every pussy you can, that's the biggest problem with guys. They just cannot be
they've been
friends
told,
with
unfortunately,
women.
by too many online dating gurus that friend zone is the worst place ever and you should never. They get offended if the girl wants to be friends,
Yeah,
right?
it's just so stupid. Like, if you're a friend, like friends with hot girls, you learn what they are and how they behave, and you become very chill.
It's the biggest dating hack out there
in the
because
company of hot girls.
if you're not able to date hot girls, at least if you can befriend hot girls, you're going to get reps and exposure to hot girls, and then they won't be so intimidating
But
for
it's
you.
also like not befriend that friend who is like waiting for her to break up with the boyfriend and rebound with, like an actual friend, not be like they're simping and like, I'm here waiting for you, not that type of friend, like an actual friend, just like.
Well, it's easier said than done. Most guys don't think they should. And we're here to tell you that, yes, you should actually try to be honest to God friends with hot women, and it's only going to make your life better. And
they're going to introduce their hot girlfriends to you, and doesn't mean like to you as like dating or anything, but you're going to be surrounded by.
You'll have more hot women in your life. And that's if you can't get hot girls and you can't get any girls to be your friend, if you can't even get in the friend zone, then your vibe is really, having issues, right? Certainly things that can be fixed, but that should give you feedback on where you're at. So, step 4, develop verbal game that sparks chemistry. So if your banter is weak or your convo is surface level and forced, she's out. Flirting is a skill, just like sales. In IC, we give you proven frameworks, we give you texting breakdowns, real-time coaching, and conversation skills is probably the great equalizer. That was the thing I realized in my late 20s, where I was like, if I could just get really good at conversation, I think I can outgun all of these good-looking chads, because I had a lot of interesting stuff going on in my life. I was traveling a lot. I had this weird job. I had the sort of fodder to have great conversations. I just needed to know how conversations really worked and what women were interested in conversations. And there's just like martial arts, right? There is a process of submitting your opponent, right? If we're doing jujitsu, my goal is to get you in an arm bar or a headlock, get you to tap out, right? And I see conversations in that same sort of way. You're having this conversational flow where you're getting her hooked on you. You get to that submission point where she's like, oh, I didn't think this guy was this way, but now I'm realizing he's actually really cool, and I'm getting attracted to him as we're talking. Right? And most guys have never developed that, will never develop that, just rely on the dumb conversation skills they never bothered to learn. Maybe they got from their friends and family. But there is absolutely a way to become a conversational beast. And it's probably one of the fastest and easiest ways to leg up. And it makes you more interesting to literally every single person you talk to. So if you don't do that, you're always at a massive disadvantage.